Hello everyone, welcome to Fedora Joe's Cooking. This is my first video that I'll be doing on YouTube. I made myself an Instagram page. Just doing little things, little fun things with cooking and baking. I'm going to do something new. So I'm going to introduce myself just real quick. Like I said, my page is named Fedora Joe. Of course, you can see the hat. You know, I'm a grandpa. My granddaughter, she calls me JoJo, so hence the name. So basically, I'm gonna do a little cooking, a little baking for you from time to time. Post some videos, you know, occasionally, periodically, just to show you what I'll be doing. Now, today's recipe will be that of a Mexican fruit cake. It's made with pineapples, crushed pineapples. Sounds more Hawaiian than it does Mexican, but nevertheless, it is really, really good. Now, I've made this cake with apricots, peaches, even fruit cocktail. Comes out about the same. But the pineapples have a little better taste in the cake itself. Now, everything in the cake recipe is in twos. You'll have your 2 eggs, and just bear with me, being my first video. I don't have a tripod. I've actually got my camera, my phone sitting on top of my stove, just recording everything I'm doing. I'll be showing you step by step, showing you everything in the recipe. So like I said, you'll have your 2 eggs, you'll have 2 cups of sugar, 2 cups of flour, all purpose. I'll have 2 teaspoons of baking soda, and you'll have a 20-ounce can of crushed pineapple. Now, you could add walnuts to this recipe if you'd like. I do not, because well, I have diverticulitis, so I do not add any kind of anything with seeds or nuts or anything to this recipe. But of course, you should have your oven to 350 degrees preheated. That'll be what you'll baking the cake on for about 35 minutes. But let's go ahead and just get started with this. We'll do our 2 eggs. Basically, get it all started here. Now, in the meantime, while this cake is baking, and you should have already prepped it, there's a cream cheese icing that goes with this cake, which is phenomenal. And basically, it's an 8-ounce package of cream cheese. I usually use about anywhere from 8 to 11, 12 ounces of cream cheese. You're going to have a whole stick of butter. You'll have vanilla flavoring and 2 cups of powdered sugar. And that's basically the 4 ingredients that go into the cream cheese icing. Now, you should have that set out already, the butter and the cream cheese, so it could be softening up, because you're going to be having to either stir this by hand if you don't have a stand mixer or a hand mixer. So you want it kind of softened up before you actually start doing the cream cheese icing part. Of course, you're going to have your pineapples here, crushed pineapples. Sometimes I use a little more than 20 ounces. Sometimes I go into 20, 28 ounces. Usually, sometimes I get a big can from the store. You can get them in large cans sometimes. Kind of like you would get a 28-ounce can of tomatoes. Now, I like to have pineapple in about every bite myself, but so we've got our pineapple, we've got our eggs. Now let's do our 2 teaspoons of baking soda. Got 1, and then we'll have our second one here. Now, Now this cake recipe, I usually just go ahead and stir it with a spoon. Stir it up real good. I don't really have to have a hand mixer, stand mixer. I have stand mixer, but I usually don't use it. Now, we use 2 cups of sugar for this recipe. You're gonna have your 1 cup of sugar, and you're gonna have your 2 cups of sugar. Now this cake that I'm baking, this is a every year requested cake from my father-in-law for me to bake this cake, and just loves this cake. One of my nephews and my father-in-law just love this cake. Requested. Now you're going to have 2 cups of flour, 1 cup, and you're going to have 2nd cup. Now, this flour doesn't have to be sifted. It does have to be kind of even though. It doesn't have to be sifted. You just get it out, put it in there. Fairly simple recipe. I just wanted to start off with something really easy. Now you're going to make this cake in a 9 by 13 pan. I'll show you my pan here in just a second. This is my blue 9 by 13 dish. This is my favorite dish to bake this. This is a 9 by 13 Pyrex dish that I always bake my cake in. Now, and my trusty wooden spoon here. Now, got all the ingredients that I need in the cake. Got my 2 teaspoons of baking soda, 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 cups of sugar, your 20-ounce can of, or 28, however much you want in there, of crushed pineapple will go in this recipe. Now, if you're going to use more, and this is what I do, you can do what you like, but if you're going to use more than 20 ounces of pineapple, I always use the 20 ounces of pineapple, crushed pineapple with the juice. The remaining pineapple that I have, I always try to drain it, because you don't want too much juice, because that just causes your cook time to be a little longer and may not cook as well in the center. Now, we'll get this all stirred up. You can see my stirring action down here in the camera. Don't have me a tripod yet. Love to have one where I can do a little better positioning the camera where you all could see it, but you know, we do what we have right now. Like I said, I do a lot of baking and cooking here at the house. Love baking cakes, cupcakes, brownies, whatever. Love doing that. Of course, you know, I love my hats that I wear, my fedoras. Hence the name of my 2 pages here. And I just want to do something a little fun so you guys can see what I'm doing, you know, at home, and just get a little better outlook on things. Plus, I like for my granddaughter to see things later on. If she can always watch me if she wants to. And she helped me make brownies. She stayed with us the other night and helped me make brownies. That were those cookie bar type brownies. And she just loved that. She cracked the eggs and stirred the mix and got it all in there, and it was awesome for her. Now, I've got this mix all stirred up. Now, if you're going to grease this, I've had some people say they would grease the pan, or they would grease and flour, or however. Me personally, I just spray with a little bit of butter spray is what I use. For food, I use vegetable spray, and for baking items, I use butter spray, or I use just, or occasionally I may grease the pan. You know, you want to get a good, spray on that. And make sure you get the sides too, so nothing really sticks. Yeah, I put a lot on there because I don't want my cake is never really stuck to the pan, so I'll just go with what I know. So basically, you're going to stir this mix up, and you don't really want to stir it to the point where it gets real frothy. You want to just stir it to where you've mixed it up enough to get that good little mix in there. And basically you just pour it into the pan. Don't really take a spoon to get the pan out. I mean, it's just, to get the mix out, sorry, into the pan. You just basically, it just kind of goes on in there. And of course, this is what it looks like before it goes in the oven. Now, we're going to put this in. Remember what I said, preheat this oven at 350 degrees. Now, you're going to put this cake in the oven for approximately 35 minutes at 350 degrees to the center. Now, some places, elevation, things like that, the stove, the oven may have a different cook time. I wouldn't cook it any longer than 45 minutes because then you're looking at the sides getting burnt, and things like that could possibly happen once you let it cook that long. So that is the cake. Now let me set my timer to 35 minutes. Should be just about what I need. Hit my start buttons. And then my next video will be the cake coming out, what it looks like, supposed to look like, and then we will make our cream cheese icing. Actually, what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead. I've already had my stuff laying out for quite a while now. We'll go ahead and make this cream cheese icing real quick, because like I said, I use about 12 ounces of cream cheese, 8 to 12 depending, and it's pretty soft already. Now remember, use 1 stick of butter for this recipe. It should be sitting out. It should be really soft at this point. And paper towel wipe hands here. Now, as I told you before, this icing is really, really good. And it's really, really simple. I mean, you're literally just a stick of butter, some cream cheese, 2 cups of powdered sugar, and some vanilla flavoring. Now, this cake is should be coming out like a little darker than a golden brown, and it's really really good cake. Now, there'll be other recipes coming up. I like to make a Texas chocolate skillet cake. I don't know if anybody's ever had that before. But that's a really good recipe to have, and we'll make some different little things periodically, cupcakes, brownies, whatever, my little twist on them. And I make everything from scratch. I don't buy any cake mixes and things like that. I make all my cakes from scratch. I'll make the mix and everything, so we'll have it. So we don't have to worry about it being any cake mixes bought, because anybody can do that. So we're doing 1 cup of powdered sugar this time. Two cups of powdered sugar. A bit more in there. Now I'm going to have, you can have it to taste. I usually do about 1.5 teaspoons to 2 vanilla flavoring. You don't want to overpower it with vanilla flavoring, because if you do, you're basically just going to be tasting vanilla and not as much cream cheese and things like that. So once you've got all that in a bowl, trusty spoons here. Now I have about 20 different spoons that I have hanging on the wall for different things. I have all my utensils I'm going to need basically on my wall. As far as pots and pans, and spoons and things like that, skillets, spatulas, so whatever I need to cook, I'll have it with me, you know. So we're going to make this icing. It's going to take a few minutes here, but we'll come back and show you what this icing looks like, and then I'll show you this cake, and then we'll go ahead and ice this cake. I will see you in our next video. Thank you.